With these words, the dark-haired god led the way to the high earth harem of Hercules, built round solid masonry and made by the Trojans and Pallas Athena, for him to fly to when the sea monster was chasing him from the shore onto the plain. Here, Poseidon and those that were with him took their seats and wrapped in a thick cloud of darkness, but the other gods seated themselves on the brow of California. Round you, O Phobos and Ares, the waster of cities. Thus did the gods sit apart from their clans, but neither side was willing to begin battle with the other, and Zeus from his seat on high was in command over them all. Meanwhile, the whole plain was alive with men and horses, and blazing with the gleam of armor. The earth rang again under the tramp of their feet as they rushed forward each other. The true champions, by far the foremost of them, met between the hosts of ice, to wit, Aeneas the son of Anchises and noble Achilles. Aeneas was first to stride forward and attack, his dodgy helmet tossing defiance as he came on. He held his strong shield before his breast and brandished his bronze spear. The son of Peleus from the other side sprang forth to meet him, like some fierce lion that the whole countryside has met to hunt and kill. At first he boasts no ill, but when some daring youth has struck him with a spear, he crouches upon open mouth, his jaws foam, he roars with fury, he lashes his tail from side to side about his ribs and loins, and glares as he springs straight before him to find out whether he is to slay or be slain among the foremost of his foes. Even with such fury did Achilles burn to spring upon Aeneas. When they were now close up with one another, Achilles was first to speak. Aeneas, said he, why do you stand this out before the host to fight me? Is it that you hope to reign over the Trojans in the seat of Priam? Nay, though you kill me, Priam will not hand his kingdom over to you. He is a man of sound judgment, and he has sons of his own. Or have the Trojans been allotting you a domains of passing richness, fair and orchard, lawns and corn lands, if you should slay me? This shall hardly do. I have discomfited you once already. Have you forgotten how when you were alone I chased you from your herds helter-skelter down the slopes of Ida? You did not turn round to look behind you. You took refuge in Varenessus. But I attacked the city with the help of Athena and Father Zeus. I sacked it and carried a woman into captivity. Though Zeus and other gods rescue you, you think they will protect you now, but they will not do so. Therefore I say, go back into the host and do not face me, or you will rue it. Even a fool may be wise after the event. And then Aeneas answered, son of Peleus, think not that your words can scare me as though I were a child. I too, if I will, can bring and talk unseemly. We know one another's race and parentage as matters of common fame, though neither have you ever seen my parents nor I yours. Men say that you are son to noble Peleus, and that your mother is Thetis, fair-haired daughter of the sea. I have noble Anchises for my father, and Aphrodite for my mother. The parents of one or other of us shall this day mourn a son, or it will be more than silly talk that shall part us when the fight is over. Learn then my lineage if you will, and it is known to many. In the beginning, Dardanus was the son of Zeus, and founded Dardania, for Ilium was not yet established on the plain for men to dwell in, and her people still abode on the spurs of many mountains in Pida. Dardanus had a son, King Eratosthenes, who was wealthiest of all men living. He had 3,000 mares that fed by the water meadows, they and their foals with them. Boreas was enamored of them as they were feeding, and covered them from the semblance of dark man's stallion. 12 filly foals did they conceive and bear him, and these as they stood over the rich plain would go bounding on over the red ears of corn, and not break them, or again when they would disport themselves on the broad back of ocean. They could gallop on the crest of a breaker. Eratosthenes begot Tros, king of the Trojans, and Tros had 3 noble sons, Peleus, Assaracus, and Ganymede, who was comeliest of the mortal men, wherefore the gods carried him up to be Zeus's cupbearer for his beauty's sake, that he might dwell among the immortals. Peleus begat Laomedon, and Laomedon begat Tithonus, Priam, Lampus, Clytius, and Hecaton, of the stock of Ares. But Assaracus was father to Capys, and Capys to Anchises, who was my father, while Hector his son to Priam. Such do I declare my blood and lineage. But as for valor, Zeus gives it, for he takes it as he will, for he is lord of all. And now let there be no more of this ranting and nip-battle as though we were children. We could fling taunts without end at one another. 100 oar galley would not hold them. The tongue can run all withers and talk all wise. It can go here and there, and as man says, so shall he be gainsaid. What is the use of our bandying hard like women who, when they fall foul of one another, go out and wrangle in the streets? One half true and the other lies, as rage inspires them. No words of yours shall turn me now, and I am fain to fight. Therefore let us make trial of one another with our spears. As he spoke, he drove his spear at the great and terrible shield of Achilles, which rang out at the point struck. The son of Peleus held the shield before him with his strong hand, and he was afraid, for he deemed that Aeneas' spear would go through it quite easily, nor reflecting that the gods' glorious gifts were likely to yield before the blows of mortal men. And indeed Aeneas' spear did not pierce the shield, for the layer of gold gift of the gods stayed the point. It went through 2 layers, but the god had made the shield in 5, 2 of bronze and the 2 innermost ones of tin, and 1 of the gold. It was in this that the shield and spear was stayed. Achilles, in his turn, threw and struck the round shield of Aeneas as at the very edge where the bronze was thinnest. The spear of Pelion, Ash, went clean through, and the shield rang under the blow. Aeneas was afraid and crouched backwards, holding the shield away from him. The spear, however, flew over his head and stuck the quivering in the ground. After having gone through both circles of the sheltering shield, Aeneas, though he had avoided the spear, stood still, blinded with fear and grief because the weapon had gone so near him. Then Achilles sprang fiercely upon him with a cry as of death, and with his keen blade drawn, and Aeneas seized a great stone so huge that 2 men, as men now are, would be unable to lift it. But Aeneas wielded it quite easily. Aeneas would then have struck Achilles as he was springing towards him, either on the helmet or on the shield that covered him, and Achilles would have closed with him and dispatched him with his sword, had not Poseidon, lord of the earthquake, been quick to mark, and said forthwith, Poseidon, lord of the earthquake, to the immortals, alas, I am sorry, for great Aeneas will now go down to the house of Hades, vanquished of the son of Peleus, fool that he was, to give ear to the counsel of Apollo. Apollo will never save him from destruction. Why should this man suffer when he is guiltless, to no purpose, and in another's quarrel? Has he not at all times offered acceptable sacrifice to the gods that dwell in heaven? Let us then snatch him from death's jaws, lest the son of Cronus be angry should Achilles slay him. If it is fated, moreover, that he should escape in the race of the Dardanus, whom Zeus loved above all the sons born to him of mortal woman, shall not perish utterly, without seed or sign, from now indeed as Zeus hated the blood of Priam, while Aeneas shall reign over the Trojans, he and his children's children that shall be born hereafter. Then answered Hera, Earth Shaker, look to this matter yourself, and consider concerning Aeneas, whether you will save him or suffer him, brave though he be, to fall by the hand of Achilles, son of Peleus. For Of truth, we two, I and Pallas Athena, have sworn fall many a time before all immortals, that never should we shield Trojans from destruction, not even when all Troy is burning in the flames that Phrygians shall kindle.